The door opens with a soft chime. Jackson steps in, posture stooped, glasses thick, dressed like a man 20 years older than he is. No one looks up. Near the counter, 3 employees crowd around a phone, laughing. One of them, Troy, glances in Jackson's direction, then turns back to the screen. Jackson walks slowly toward the laptop section. His eyes scan each shelf. After a moment, he stops in front of a gaming model. The sign taped below it says, $849, today only. He turns. "Excuse me, young man. Could I get some help?" Troy walks over, hands deep in his hoodie pocket. "Yeah, what are you looking for?" Jackson gestures toward the laptop. "For my grandson. He's 16, needs something for school, and games." Troy barely looks at the tag. "That one's $1,400. It's our best deal." Jackson blinks, looks again. "It says $849. Troy shrugs. "Yeah, sign's wrong. Price went up, happens all the time." Jackson sits at his desk, sleeves rolled, tie loosened. The office is quiet except for the low hum of the AC. Spreadsheets are open across his monitor. Numbers, percentages, red flags. He scrolls slowly. Store 4, down 12%. Store 7, worse, 18% drop. 2 quarters in a row. Customer feedback tabs open. Words jump off the screen. Rude staff. No help? Felt ignored. He leans back in his chair, jaw tight. One hand rests on the mouse, the other presses lightly against his temple. He knows Store 7. His father opened it first. Jackson closes the report window. Opens another. Employee turnover, complaint logs. The trend is steady, downward. He reaches for a yellow notepad. Writes 2 numbers at the top, 4 and 7. Circles them. Too many excuses, too many emails. He leans forward again. No more filters, no more second-hand answers. If something's broken, he needs to see it for himself. Jackson opens a drawer and pulls out an old photo. The edges are soft, corners curled slightly. His father stands in front of Store 1. No suit. Just a white shirt with rolled sleeves and a name tag that says, Martin, owner. He's smiling, arm around a young employee. The kind of smile you don't fake. Jackson stares at the image. He remembers the smell of that store, the way his father knew every name. Birthdays, spouses, who worked weekends without complaining. When he was a kid, Martin made him shake every employee's hand before they left for the day. Respect isn't given from a title. His father used to say, it's built from the floor up. Jackson sets the photo beside the reports. 2 different worlds, one filled with people, the other with charts. He glances back at the numbers. The stores failing weren't just losing money, they were losing everything his father stood for. Jackson sits across from Mr. Carter in the small glass conference room. Carter's tablet is open, graphs already pulled up. "We're tracking slightly below forecast," Carter says, "but conversion rates are stable. Upsell ratios look good. Store 7's accessories per ticket jumped last month." Jackson nods once, flat. Carter scrolls. "And customer dwell time is up, which suggests stronger engagement. Or people waiting too long for help," Jackson says. Carter pauses, then smiles. "We're adjusting staff flow accordingly." Jackson leans back. "How often do you visit Store 7? Carter doesn't answer right away. "I monitor the weekly dashboard." Jackson raises an eyebrow. "You ever walk the floor?" "We have systems for that," Carter says, gesturing to the charts. "Our feedback loop's pretty tight." Jackson looks at the screen, then at him. A dozen metrics, not one face. He nods slowly. The room feels smaller. "I think I'll go take a look at Store 7 myself." Jackson scrolls through his contacts and taps a name he hasn't used in years. "Diane," he says when she answers. "You still work with Theater Wardrobe?" She laughs. "What's the role?" He glances at the photo of his father again, then back to the laptop. "An old man, a little slower than me, glasses, cargo pants, the kind of guy no one really notices." The next morning, Diane arrives with a small suitcase. Inside, thinning wig, fake age spots, slouch jacket, thick-rimmed frames. "You sure about this?" she asks, adjusting the glasses on him. "You're the CEO." "That's why I need to see it like they do," he says. He steps in front of the mirror. A stranger looks back. Older, softer, easy to ignore. Diane hands him a folded receipt. "Buy something cheap. Blend in. No one trusts a shopper who asks too much." Jackson nods. Tomorrow, he walks into his own store. Alone, unknown, unrecognizable. Jackson stands in his garage, the back hatch of his car open. A small mirror leans against the wall. He slips on the cargo pants, loose at the waist. The oversized polo hangs awkwardly on his frame. Next comes the wig. Gray, thinning, a little too real under fluorescent light. He presses it down, adjusting the part. Glasses on, thick lenses, just heavy enough to change how he sees the room. He practices the walk. Slower, knees a bit stiff, shoulders slightly rounded. Then the voice. Softer, a touch of drawl. Not full Southern, just worn around the edges. "Excuse me, son. Looking for a laptop, maybe something for my grandson." He says it again, then again. The version in the mirror isn't sharp, doesn't command rooms, doesn't look like someone who runs anything. That's the point. Jackson zips the duffel closed and exhales. He's not going in as the man in charge. He's going in as the one no one pays attention to. The automatic doors slide open. Jackson steps into store 7, 1 foot slower than the other. Bright lights, polished floors, wide aisles lined with gleaming screens. No one looks up. To his right, 2 employees lean against the accessories counter. One scrolls through a phone. The other watches a video, earbuds in. They laugh quietly at something he can't hear. A third sits behind the service desk tapping a screen with a pen, not once glancing up. Jackson pauses just inside the entrance. He adjusts his glasses, scans the space like someone unsure of where to go. Still nothing. No greeting, no eye contact. No, "Can I help you?" He shifts his weight. His hand brushes the side of his jacket. Still no response. For a moment, he doesn't feel like a CEO in disguise. He just feels like an old man in the way. Invisible. Forgettable. He starts walking. Not toward the counter, but to the laptop aisle, alone. Jackson stops at a display marked Performance Laptops. His eyes land on the same model from before. The tag still reads 8, today only. He turns as Troy strolls over chewing gum, thumbs still tapping on his phone before he pockets it. "Need something?" Jackson points at the laptop. "This one, for my grandson. 16, plays games, does schoolwork." Troy nods once. "Yeah, that's a good one. $1,400. Jackson squints. "Sorry. It says $849 here." Troy doesn't look. "Tag's wrong. They didn't update it. Happens a lot. Could you double-check the system, just in case?" Troy shakes his head. "Nah, I'm sure. I know this one. It's $1,100. Jackson studies him. No urgency, no interest, just certainty. Quick, flat, and final. He glances back at the tag, then at Troy. The difference isn't just in the number, it's in how little Troy seems to care whether he's right or not. Jackson looks down at the price tag again. Clean print, no damage, no sign it's out of date. "You're sure it's not $849? He asks, voice calm. Troy lets out a short laugh. "Man, I just told you they screw up the signage all the time. That promo ended last week." He doesn't check, doesn't move, just crosses his arms like the conversation's over. Jackson tilts his head slightly. "Could you scan it anyway? Just so I know for sure?" Troy sighs, louder this time. "I'm telling you. I work here. I know what I'm talking about." Then he turns, without warning, and starts walking away. No need to check. Jackson stands still, one hand on the edge of the shelf. It's not the price that stings. It's the way the truth didn't matter. He watches Troy disappear down the aisle. For a split second, his jaw tightens, but he says nothing. Not yet. Jackson stays by the display, eyes on the screen but mind elsewhere. Footsteps approach. Quieter, more intentional. "Sir?" He turns. A young woman with a soft voice and a simple ponytail stands beside him. Her name tag reads Lena, sales support. "I couldn't help overhearing," she says gently. "That price is correct. It's part of a weekend promo that ends tonight." Jackson raises an eyebrow. "Troy said it was 1,400. She frowns slightly. Not dramatic, just enough to register. "No, that's not right. It's definitely 849 today. I can double-check if you want." Jackson nods once. "I'd appreciate that." She offers a small, sincere smile. "I'll be right back." Lena moves quickly toward the terminal, typing with practiced hands. Jackson watches her. No pushiness, no hesitation. Just a quiet correction. One sentence. No drama. But in this store, it's the first thing that feels honest. Lena types quickly at the register, eyes focused on the screen. She doesn't glance around, doesn't ask for backup, just checks. A few taps, a few scrolls. She reads the result, nods to herself, and walks back. "Price is valid," she says simply. 849, just like the tag says. Jackson meets her eyes. "No mistakes?" She shakes her head. "No, sir. It's a weekend promo. Ends tonight." She doesn't sell it, doesn't pitch, no upsell, no pressure, just facts. "If you're interested," she adds, "I can hold it at the register for you while you look around." He nods. "That would be helpful. Thank you." She gives a small smile. "You're welcome." As she walks away, Jackson watches her. No rush in her steps, no attitude, just someone doing her job right. Nothing dramatic. But in a store full of noise, Lena's quiet honesty stands out more than anything else. Jackson steps back from the laptop display, hands loosely clasped in front of him. He takes a slow look around. To his left, a woman in her 50s sits on a bench near the service desk. She glances at her watch, then at the counter. No one there. A man stands near the headphone wall, holding 2 boxes, scanning the aisle for help. None comes. By the tablet section, a teenage boy taps his foot while his mother scrolls through her phone. They both look tired, unsure who to talk to. Across the floor, 2 employees lean against a shelf, joking quietly. One sips from a branded cup. The other nods along, phone still in hand. No urgency. No movement. Jackson watches all of it. Slowly. Quietly. There's no yelling, no disasters, just silence, broken by waiting. This isn't a storm. It's a slow leak. One no one seems to notice or care to fix. Near the printer aisle, an older woman walks slowly, both hands on her purse strap. Her steps are careful, one foot slightly dragging. She approaches Derek, who's leaning against a support column, half watching a screen behind the counter. "Excuse me, young man. Could you tell me where the restroom is?" Derek doesn't move, doesn't turn. He jerks his thumb over his shoulder without looking. "Somewhere that way," he mumbles, then returns to tapping on his phone. The woman blinks, glances in the direction he pointed, uncertain. She stands there for another second, lips slightly parted, before starting to walk. Hesitant. Slow. Jackson watches from 10 feet away. His hands curl slightly at his sides. The woman disappears down the wrong aisle. Derek never looks up. There's no shouting, no confrontation, just a moment that lands heavier than it looks. Because some kinds of disrespect don't need words, just indifference. Jackson moves toward the corner near mobile accessories. His pace slows as he spots Lena kneeling beside a seated customer. It's the same older woman from before, the one Derek brushed off. Her hands tremble slightly as she holds a phone. The screen is dim. The case is cracked at the edges. "I just need to save the pictures," the woman says softly. "They're of my grandson. He's 6. Lena smiles, not wide but steady. "No problem. We'll get them backed up. I'll walk you through it." She talks slowly, showing each step. Doesn't grab the phone, doesn't rush. She explains cloud storage like it's the most important thing in the world. The woman nods, eyes squinting, focusing hard. Lena stays beside her the whole time. Jackson watches in silence. No script, no sale, no time limit, just care, real care. And in that moment, he sees everything this store could be. If more people acted like her. Jackson takes a seat near the tech bar, pulling a small notepad from his pocket. The pages are clean, folded once down the middle. He writes 3 names. Troy, underlines it once. Lied, no hesitation, no check, no care. Derek, another line. Dismissed a customer, didn't move, didn't look. Lena, pauses, honest, present, patient. He taps the pen lightly against the paper. Across the store, Troy jokes with another employee, his voice louder than it needs to be. Derek stands near the chargers, slouched, scrolling again. Lena walks past them both, holding a tablet and answering a customer's question without stopping. Jackson watches, expression unreadable. His pen rests beside the notes. He doesn't smile, doesn't nod. But something settles behind his eyes, something sharper than before. Not frustration, not surprise. Clarity. He folds the paper, slides it into his jacket and stands up, slower than he needs to. The car door closes with a quiet thud. Jackson sits still for a moment, both hands on the steering wheel. Outside the windshield, Store 7 looks polished. Glass clean, lights bright. On the surface, nothing wrong. He reaches up, peels off the gray wig slowly. The elastic snaps lightly as it comes loose. He sets it on the passenger seat. Then the glasses. Then the slouched jacket. The rearview mirror reflects a different face now. Lines deeper than they were this morning. Eyes sharper. Not angry, not surprised. Just tired. He runs a hand through his real hair, then lets it fall back to his lap. The notepad is still in his jacket. He doesn't open it. He doesn't need to. He knows exactly what he saw. Jackson leans back, exhales once. A long breath. No words. Then he opens his phone. Scrolls to his assistant's number, taps call. "Clear my schedule tomorrow," he says. "I need a meeting. First thing." Mr. Carter steps into the conference room, tablet in hand, buttoned up as always. Jackson is already seated at the head of the table. No laptop, just a small folder and a cup of black coffee, half full. "Morning," Carter says, settling in. "I pulled this week's metrics. Store 7's numbers still look soft, but we saw a slight uptick in accessory." "I went there yesterday," Jackson says. Carter pauses. "Sorry?" "Store 7. I went in myself, as a customer." Carter's mouth opens slightly. No words come out. Jackson leans forward. "No team, no badge, just me, in disguise." Carter shifts in his seat. Why would you do that?" "To see what our systems don't show." Jackson lets the silence hang. Then, "I was lied to about a laptop price. Twice. Watched a customer get ignored. Watched another get helped. By the only employee who actually cared." Carter doesn't respond. Not yet. Carter clears his throat, posture stiffening. "With all due respect," he says carefully, "I've been monitoring Store 7. I check the KPIs weekly. Conversion rates are stable, no red flags." Jackson doesn't blink. "You saw no problems?" "Not in the data," Carter replies. "Nothing that stood out." Jackson slides a paper across the table. A printed customer review. "No one spoke to me. I left without buying anything." Another. "Felt like I was bothering the staff just by asking a question." "I've seen those," Carter says. "A few outliers, but that happens." Jackson looks up. "You think this is an outlier?" He pauses. "I was told a $849 laptop cost $1,100. Twice. No scan, no check, no apology." Carter leans back, unsure what to say. "I didn't see that in the reports," he mutters. Jackson nods once. "That's the problem." He taps the table gently. "You were watching numbers. I was watching people." Jackson turns the laptop around. The screen plays muted footage from a ceiling camera. Troy leans against the register, phone in hand. The timestamp rolls. 2 minutes, 5, 10. He scrolls, laughs at something, never looks up. A customer walks by, glances at the counter, hesitates. No greeting, no offer of help. 15 minutes pass before Troy finally pockets his phone, and only because another employee walks by. Jackson clicks to the next clip. Derek stands near the back entrance. He checks his watch, then disappears behind the swinging stockroom doors. The feed fast forwards. 11 minutes. No movement, no customer contact. Another angle. A woman looking confused by the headphones. No one approaches. Carter watches, quiet. He shifts once in his seat. "This is what I saw," Jackson says. Not a spreadsheet, not a KPI, just time, wasted, customers, ignored, and 2 employees who didn't think anyone was watching, but someone was. The footage stops. The screen goes black. Carter exhales, slow and careful. "It's not ideal," he says. "But we've seen worse. Maybe they were short-staffed. Maybe it was just a bad day." Jackson shakes his head once. "It wasn't a bad day. It was a regular one." He folds his hands on the table. Calm, steady. "You're managing numbers. I'm trying to lead people." Carter doesn't respond. "KPIs can't show me who ignores a customer," Jackson continues. "They don't tell me who lies to close a sale or who walks past a woman needing help like she doesn't exist." He leans forward. "I don't need better dashboards. I need better decisions. From people. On the floor. In real time." Carter nods slowly. "I'll talk to the team." "No," Jackson says quietly. "I will." The silence after is sharp. Something has shifted. Not in the store, but in the way he's going to run it from now on. Morning light cuts across the parking lot. Jackson steps out of his car in a black polo and dark jeans. No wig, no glasses, no disguise. He walks toward Store 7 with measured steps. No clipboard, no entourage. Just him. The front doors slide open. Same lobby, same counter, same staff. Troy glances up from behind the register. His eyes narrow for half a second, recognizing the face but not the context. He looks again. Still doesn't place it. Derek leans near the accessories wall, chatting with someone, arms folded. He doesn't notice Jackson at all. Jackson pauses by the customer service desk. "Is Lena in?" he asks quietly. The woman behind the desk nods. "She's on break. Should be back in 10. Jackson nods. "Thanks." He doesn't look around yet. Doesn't speak to anyone else. Not yet. Today, he didn't come to pretend. He came to confront, as himself. Jackson stands in the back office, arms crossed, waiting. The assistant manager picks up the intercom. "Troy and Derek to the office, please." A pause. Then footsteps. Troy walks in first, still chewing gum, expression casual. Derek follows, slower, arms loose at his sides. They both stop short when they see Jackson. Neither speaks. "Have a seat," Jackson says, not offering one himself. They stay standing. He looks at them, one at a time. The hum of the overhead light fills the silence. "Do either of you recognize me?" Troy squints, brows drawn. "You're the guy from yesterday, the laptop guy." Jackson nods once. "I am. And I'm also the name on your paycheck." The room goes quiet, colder. Derek shifts in place. Troy's face tightens, mouth half open. No one moves. Jackson doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. The tone's already changed, and they feel it. Jackson steps forward, voice calm but sharper now. "Let's try this again. Who am I?" Troy stares, unsure. "You're the old guy from yesterday. Wanted a gaming laptop for your grandson." Jackson tilts his head slightly. "That's one answer." Derek shifts, brow furrowing. "You were asking about the weekend promo, right?" Jackson nods slowly. "I was. And both of you lied to me. Ignored me, dismissed me." He lets the silence build. "Now, here's who I really am. Jackson Reed, owner of this company. Every store, including this one." Troy's face goes pale. Derek's jaw tightens. No one speaks. Jackson's voice lowers. I came here undercover, not to trap anyone, but to see if our values still live on the floor. He meets both their eyes. They don't. Troy opens his mouth, but nothing comes out. For the first time they realize the man they dismissed was the one person they couldn't afford to. Troy finally speaks, voice uneven. I thought the price had changed. Maybe it updated in the system. Jackson cuts in, steady. No, you didn't say maybe. You said it was $400. Troy fidgets. That's what I assumed. You assumed? Jackson's tone sharpens. Or you wanted the higher sale. Troy looks down. I was told to push margin where I could. You were told to lie? No, just upsell. Be confident. Jackson takes a step closer. You told me not to check the system. Said you were sure. You didn't hesitate. Troy says nothing. You didn't just guess, Jackson continues. You gambled I wouldn't notice. The air goes cold again. Derek watches in silence. Jackson holds his gaze on Troy. You didn't push a product. You pushed a lie. And that's not salesmanship. That's manipulation. Troy swallows hard. There's no room left to hide. Not behind excuses. Not behind a badge. Jackson's voice flattens. Cold. Clear. You're both done here. Effective immediately. Troy's eyes widen. Wait, sir, I didn't mean... This isn't a debate. Derek steps forward. We didn't know who you were. You shouldn't treat people better because of who they are. You should treat them right because it's your job. They fall silent. Jackson turns to the assistant manager standing by the door. Cancel their system access. Remove store credentials. Today. She nods and steps out. Troy looks stunned. You're firing us? Just like that? No, Jackson says. I'm firing you because you earned it. He opens the office door. You can gather your things. Security will escort you out. Neither man moves at first. Then slowly, Derek walks out. No protest, no glance back. Troy follows, shoulders tight, lips pressed. The door closes. The office is quiet again. And the store, for the first time in a long time, starts to breathe. The store feels still, like something heavy just lifted. Jackson walks out from the office, scanning the floor. He spots Lena returning from break, tucking her badge back onto her shirt. She pauses when she sees him, recognition slowly dawning. You probably don't recognize me without the gray hair, he says. Lena blinks. You were... the grandpa with the laptop? I was. She straightens slightly, unsure of what's coming. Jackson steps closer, voice low but certain. You're the reason I still believe in people. Lena's eyes widen. Sir? You told the truth when it wasn't easy. You helped someone without being asked. You did the right thing even when others didn't. She swallows, suddenly quiet. I saw it. Every moment. Jackson nods. Store 7 needs leadership. Real leadership. Not title, not years, just someone who cares. Lena doesn't answer yet, but her posture says everything. Hope just found a place to grow. Lena stands frozen, still processing Jackson's words. He doesn't wait. I just removed the acting floor manager, he says. This store needs someone to steady it. She blinks. Me? Yes. Starting today, you'll lead the floor team. Lena stares at him, almost laughing from disbelief. But I've never managed anyone. I'm just... You're not just anything. Jackson interrupts gently. You listen. You show up. That's more than most do with a title. Her voice lowers. I don't even know all the back-end systems. You'll learn. Skills can be trained. Values can't. Silence stretches between them. Then Lena nods, slowly. I'll do my best. That's all I'm asking. He offers a small smile, then steps aside. As she turns to face the floor, her hands tremble slightly, but there's something new behind her eyes. Responsibility. And a quiet kind of power that doesn't need to shout. Lena walks beside Jackson, still quiet. The store feels heavier now. Not from fear, but from expectation. I don't know if I'm ready, she admits. There's so much I don't know. I've never led meetings. I've never written schedules. I've never... Jackson stops her with a glance. You don't need to know everything. She looks at him, unsure. You just need to care, he says. Really care. Lena exhales. That sounds simple. It is, Jackson replies, and that's why most people miss it. He points gently toward the sales floor. That customer who needed directions, you didn't look away, you didn't clock out, you stepped in, that's leadership. She's quiet for a beat, then nods. Okay. Don't try to be perfect, Jackson adds. Just be real. People feel that. Lena looks out at the team. For the first time, she's not just part of it. She's holding it together. 8 a.m. The team gathers near the break room for the morning huddle. Lena stands at the front, not holding a clipboard, just her hands, lightly clasped. She clears her throat. Thanks for being here. I know this week's been intense, but we've got a chance to reset. Some nod. One yawns. A few glance at their phones. Caleb leans against the wall, earbuds in. He doesn't look up. Lena pauses, keeps her tone even. We can't fix everything overnight, but we can fix how we treat each other and how we treat customers. Still no reaction from Caleb. He taps on his phone, half listening, if at all. Lena looks at him, just for a beat, then back at the group. One rule from now on, she says. No one gets ignored. A few heads lift. Some eyes meet hers. Caleb stays slouched. But the room, it's listening, even if not everyone hears it yet. Lena looks directly at Caleb. Her tone stays calm, measured. Caleb, she says gently, I need your attention. He doesn't flinch, still scrolling, still in his own world. A quiet tension spreads through the group, tight and awkward. No one laughs. No one speaks. Lena doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't snap. She just waits. I know this is new, she says softly, but it matters. If we're showing up, let's actually show up. Still nothing. A full beat of silence. Then Caleb pulls one earbud out, but doesn't look up. It's not defiance, not quite, but it's not respect either. Lena exhales slowly. She nods once as if marking something down in her mind, then turns back to the group. Doors open in 5. Let's have a better day. The team disperses, quietly. No blow-up, no power move, but the line has been drawn. And Caleb? He just crossed it. The team begins to scatter, murmuring low. Caleb slouches toward the counter, both earbuds in again. Jackson steps out from the back. His tone is quiet, but it slices through the room. You, what's your name? Caleb looks up, surprised. Caleb? Jackson nods once. You're done here. What? You're not part of this team anymore. Caleb's mouth opens, searching for a comeback. I watched the whole thing, Jackson continues. She gave you space. You gave her silence. Caleb scoffs. I didn't even do anything. Exactly, Jackson says. And that's the problem. The room stills. A few eyes shift to Lena. She doesn't speak. She doesn't have to. Jackson turns to her. If someone disrespects the tone you set, they're not ready to follow. Caleb stands frozen, then slowly walks toward the back to grab his things. No yelling, no drama, just a clear signal. Lena's not just trying. She's leading. The morning rush hits harder than expected. 2 team members are out sick. A delivery's late. The printer at the service desk jams mid-return. Lena stands at the center, eyes scanning everything at once. She's calm, but her jaw is tight. Customers pile in. One's holding a broken remote. Another wants to return a soundbar without a receipt. A toddler cries somewhere near the accessories aisle. Jason looks overwhelmed. Na is juggling 2 repair tickets and a ringing phone. Lena moves between them. No panic, just pace. Jason, focus on the guy in green. Nah, take a breath. I'll grab the call. But her own list of tasks doesn't shrink. By noon, the store is running. Barely. No one's yelling. No one's quitting. But it's clear, this isn't fixed yet. Lena leans on the counter for a second, just long enough to catch her breath. She doesn't say it out loud, but the look in her eyes says, "This is going to be harder than I thought." Woman steps through the door, holding a bag in one hand and steadying her son with the other. The boy's arm is in a cast, his tablet cracked in his good hand. He doesn't say much, just looks down. They hover near the entrance, unsure where to go. Lena sees them. She doesn't wave from across the room or yell instructions. She walks, calm, steady, then crouches slightly to meet the boy's eye. "Rough week?" she says softly. The boy nods once. "Let's fix what we can," she adds, and gently guides them to the service desk. She doesn't rush through the intake. She explains the wait time honestly, offers a loaner if needed, even jokes a little about games that don't need screens. The mom exhales, just slightly, but it's enough. For a moment, in the middle of chaos, Lena creates calm, not by fixing everything, just by listening and being there. Near the back, Eli stands beside a couple looking at smart TVs. They seem unsure. One reads the specs, the other stares at the price tags. Eli doesn't push. He doesn't talk in buzzwords or quote inflated features. Instead, he asks, "What do you mostly watch? Sports? Movies? Kids stuff?" They say they stream shows and sometimes mirror from their phones. Eli nods. "Then you don't need this top-tier one. Honestly, this model here gives you what you need and saves you a few $100. The man blinks. "You're not trying to upsell us?" Eli smiles, easy. "I'd rather you come back happy than frustrated." They laugh, a little disarmed. The choice becomes simple, not stressful. Lena watches from a distance. She doesn't interrupt, doesn't step in, but she sees it. One small sale, built on trust, not tactics. It's not loud, but it's how you change a store, one honest moment at a time. Jackson sits in a quiet corner near the stockroom, phone pressed to his ear. His voice is low, calm, but firm. "I need someone who's trained real teams," he says, "not someone who lives in slides." There's a pause as the person on the other end replies, "I want them here, on the floor, embedded, for 6 weeks, minimum." He glances through the glass. Lena is checking inventory with Na, answering questions between keystrokes. "She's carrying too much," Jackson continues. "She's good, but even good people crack without support." Another pause, then, "And let Lena screen the candidates. She knows what we need." He hangs up. No fist pump, no dramatic sigh, just a long breath and a small nod to himself. He didn't make an announcement, didn't gather the team, but a decision has been made, and for Jackson, that's how change happens, quietly, decisively, with people who do the work, not just talk about it. The bell above the entrance chimes, but this time it's not a customer. Morgan steps in, tall, short gray hair, expression unreadable. She doesn't smile, doesn't wave, just scans the room like a surgeon entering an OR. Jackson meets her halfway. "Thanks for coming." Morgan nods once. "I don't do icebreakers. I do results." She sets a plain black bag on the counter. Inside, a notepad, 2 pens, no laptop. "I don't need tech to fix people," she mutters. Lena approaches, cautious. Morgan gives her a sharp once-over. "You're the one holding this together?" Lena nods slowly. "Trying to." "Good," Morgan replies. "I'm not here to take over. I'm here to test if you're real." No pep talk, no checklist, just presence. Later, as Morgan quietly observes Eli walking a customer through options, she jots a single note. Listens first. Doesn't push. Keep. And just like that, a new chapter begins. No spotlight, no ceremony. Only standards. Morgan stands in the back room, arms folded, eyes on the whiteboard where names and shifts are listed. Lena, Na, and Eli sit nearby, alert. A few others linger, pretending to look busy. She doesn't raise her voice. 4 of you, she says flatly, are doing the work. Everyone freezes. The rest? A pause. Invisible. Silence stretches. She steps closer to the schedule, tapping 3 names with the back of her pen. Visible, present, accountable, then draws a line under the rest. Drifting, watching, hiding. A ripple of unease rolls through the room. You want fairness? Morgan continues. Start with effort. One guy in the corner shifts uncomfortably. Someone coughs. I don't care if you smile or charm. I care if you show up when it's hard. No one speaks. Lena watches her team, reading the reactions. Guilt, tension, challenge. And Morgan, already walking away. She doesn't need to finish the sentence. They heard everything. Lena sits at the service desk after hours, a legal pad in front of her. Jackson pulls up a chair, coffee in hand. We need a deputy, he says. Not a babysitter, a builder. Lena nods slowly. Someone who doesn't just react, who sees ahead. Jackson taps the table. Exactly. Think structure, not patchwork. She flips to a fresh page. Daily check-ins, rotating lead shifts. Someone who mentors, not manages. He raises an eyebrow. You planning to hire them or become them? She smiles, faint but honest. A bit of both. He leans back. Good. Now write down what you need in that person. Not just skills. Values. Lena begins listing. Listens without ego. Teaches without flex. Doesn't vanish when it's messy. Jackson watches her write. Silent. This isn't theory anymore. It's foundation. Before he leaves, he glances back. You're not building for today, he says. You're building what should have been here all along. The store hadn't opened yet. Lights half on, floor still dusty from yesterday's rush. Lena arrived early, backpack over one shoulder, but someone was already there. Riley, new applicant, not scheduled, on his knees with a mop, quietly cleaning the entry tiles. She blinked. You don't start till next week. He stood, smiling. I know. I figured, if I'm going to lead here, might as well start by earning the ground I stand on. Lena looked down. The floors were spotless. You don't need to impress me, she said. I'm not, he replied, just doing what I'd want someone to do if I walked in at 9. Jackson entered moments later, coffee in hand. Paused, took in the scene. Who gave you the mop? He asked. No one, Riley answered. Figured the store deserves better. Jackson exchanged a glance with Lena. No handshake yet, but the message was clear. This guy didn't come to manage. He came to serve. Jackson stands just outside the break room door, unseen, hands in pockets, watching. Inside, Lena leads the team. No notes, no screen. Just her voice, steady and clear. Look, this place didn't change because we fired a few people or added new rules. The room is quiet, eyes locked on her. It changed because some of you chose better. She lets that hang. Not louder, not faster, just better, kinder, more present. Jason nods slowly. Nah folds her arms, but there's a smile tugging at the corner. Riley stands at the back, silent but fully in it. Lena takes a breath. A store doesn't grow from policies. It grows from people who choose to do the right thing when no one's watching. Then, one last line. That's who we are now. Jackson turns, finally. He walks away without a word. He doesn't need to stay. The right person is already in the room, and they're moving forward, together.